hope you enjoyed the first really horrible movie there. And let's get now to our second horrible movie. Like Dr. Paul Bear says, it's really horrible. My name is Dr. Paul Bear.
Are you one of the frightened? Do you whistle past the graveyard? Well, then perhaps you're really like the rest of us. So come with me. Just a short ride through the hills past the old burial grounds where Count Alexis met the lady in the long, flowing veil. The famous castle of the Alexis family had long towered on the hillside in the Bavarian valley. Count Alexis himself, the last surviving member of the historic clan, was tall and handsome and kind. Indeed, the only wonder in the village was, when would he marry and raise a son to continue the glory of his ancestors? And then one storm-tossed night, when he was out on the marshes with his hunting dog, Alexis saw a tall, beautiful, dark-haired woman in a long, flowing veil walking across the meadows towards him. It seemed her carriage had overturned on the bridge and crashed into the raging waters of the Casny River. Her driver and horses had perished, but she had managed to save herself. The Count had already surrendered to the romance of their meeting, but only the hound dog seemed to whimper and growl and behave badly whenever the lady drew near him. But the Count insisted that the lady be his guest and took her straight to his castle. Within a fortnight, Alexis had wooed and won her, and the village celebrated the wonderful news. Alexis would have an heir. But in the days preceding the marriage, the young Count seemed to be failing in health. He lost weight so that his uniform seemed to hang on him. And curiously enough, to the staff of the castle, Sonia, their future mistress, fairly glowed with health since her ordeal in the river. But when no one could recall seeing her in the daytime, rumors began to spread. The old wives' tales about vampires who stalk at night and sleep in the daytime swept through the village like wildfire, and finally, up in the master bedroom where he lay exhausted, Count Alexis himself had to credit the rumors. How else this sudden loss of weight and failing health? And why should Sonia's blooming good health coincide exactly with the loss of his own vitality? Count Alexis made up his mind. He pulled the bell cord by his bed and summoned his manservant. When the fellow appeared, the Count asked that his fiancée be brought to him. But the servant shook his head. The Lady Sonia had gone out before dawn, riding off to the west, as was her usual custom. Count Alexis had heard enough. He dressed, armed himself with a short dagger, and ordered his fastest horse. He thundered down the castle road off to the west, towards the very spot where he had first met Sonia. The meadows were barren, and darkness was coming on. The Count led his horse carefully over the hilly ground. Finally, he found what he was looking for. A stone slab set in the earth, covered over with vines and leaves. Triumphantly, he dragged it to one side, and looking down, he could just make out an open coffin with Sonia lying in it, her pale beauty and blood-red lips gleaming in the dying light. Alexis drew his dagger and raised it for the kill. It is said the only way that you can kill a vampire is a stake through the heart while it sleeps. But suddenly, the dagger fell from his hands, and a slow, eerie smile played over his face. Like a stone man, he settled down beside her to wait for the vampire's hour. For he had learned Sonia's secret too late to stop him from becoming a vampire himself. See now, my friend, see? Those two bats wheeling through the darkness? It's Sonia and Count Alexis winging through the night and waiting for the chance to assume human form again. You don't believe me? Well, I'm sorry. The people of the village will believe nothing else. My, but you do have a soft, delicate throat.
This is Dr. Ball Bear. These are my friendly little pets here, so we'll be right back, and you'll get to know them a little better. Yes, sir.
We'll continue in a moment with more of WTCG's movie presentation in a moment.
Hi, Ghost fans. This is your daring reporter inside the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. And with me here somewhere is that former Olympic hide-and-seek champion, Willie the Wisp.
Boo!
Oh, there you are. Say, Willie, what's it like in the Haunted Mansion?
Beautiful, man. Kind of weird and wild and freaky.
Sounds ideal, but I understand Disneyland's Haunted Mansion is now open to humans.
Humans! Wow, that's scary.
And now we continue with more of WTCG's Superstation movie presentation here on Channel 17 in Atlanta.
Now let's get back to our really horrible old movie. I told you they'd get friendly with you, if you'd only be nice.
Surely you must have read Hamlet at some time or other in your life. If you did, do you recall that line? There are more things in heaven and hell, Horatio, than ever dreamed of in your philosophy. Well, the strange tale that I'm about to tell you is something like that. My story has to do with traveling and automobiles and a little girl. Do you believe that the dead can influence the living? But come, listen to the incredible history of Martin Cable and the little girl in the polka dot dress. The road was dark and winding that grim night that Martin Cable drove his sedan towards Webb Center. The rain slashed, howled, tore at the windows, and Martin Cable was worried. His headlights had fused out, and driving in unfamiliar territory down an unknown road on such a dreadful night was not the safest thing in the world. But Martin Cable was due in Webb Center on an important business meeting that could mean a whole new life for him. And so he drove on, taking his chances with the weather, with the car, with his life. Suddenly, through the windshield wipers mopping furiously at the glass, Martin Cable saw a flash of something up ahead, a white face in the darkness. Hurriedly, he slammed on the brakes and the car swerved to a halt. Martin Cable peered out onto the road. There was a little girl standing there in a polka dot dress, the rain pelting at her viciously, making of her hair a tangled mess. The child's face was chalk white and ghostly, and before Martin Cable could ask her anything, she came forward and put one tiny hand on the car window and pointed down the road. "Mister," her small voice was pitiful, "you better turn left here. There's a big hole in the ground just ahead. You can't go that way." Gratefully, Martin Cable thanked her and asked her if he could give her a lift home. She shook her head and indicated a grey cottage just to the right of the road. "I'll be all right," she said. "I live just there." So Martin Cable took the turn off and arrived safely at his destination, tired and shaken, but thankful that the little girl had saved his life. The next day, when he inquired about the road, the hotel clerk told him that a rock slide had made an immense pit on the road that would kill anyone who fell into it. Well, Martin Cable completed his business in Webb Center, paid a visit to a toy store, and drove back the way he had come. He decided to repay the little girl for her kindness of the night before. When he drew his car up to the grey cottage, a peaceful serenity hung over the walls and the windows. Martin Cable, with his gift under his arm, knocked loudly on the little oaken door. A small, grey-haired woman came to see who it was, and Martin Cable introduced himself and explained his visit. He wanted to see the little girl, he said. "What little girl?" the woman asked. Martin Cable rushed on to tell about the rain and being lost and saved from certain death, and "Describe her to me," the lady said. "What was she wearing?" Confused, Martin Cable mentioned the polka dot dress, but he didn't understand until the lady shook her head sadly. "Yes," she said, "it was Madeline. Once a year she comes to that part of the road and warns some traveler away from the very spot. It's been like that for 5 years now." But Martin Cable was dumbfounded. What did the woman mean? Yet it was all very simple. Madeline was my daughter, and 5 years ago she died in an accident at the place where she told you to turn. You see, she got run over by a car there. Curious, isn't it? A little girl returning like that to warn the unwary traveler away from death. Oh, yes. If you're driving tonight, do be careful. There might be a nasty break in the road.
You know, Doctor, them kids keep throwing those stupid rocks out our windows. David, it's not the kids, Dave, it's the witches. That's what I meant, the witches, the ghosts. Ladies and gentlemen, that just about does it for our Halloween Horror Theater. We'll see you next week. Right now, we're going to leave you with somebody being killed. Good night.
This is Dr. Paul Bearer. This has been a presentation of the Carter Broadcasting Company, copyright 1986. Good night. I'll be lurking for you. This ends our movie presentation on WTCG Channel 17 in Atlanta, Georgia. Come back again and watch the next Late Night Theater right here on WTCG. Good night and pleasant dreams.
It's the policy of Turner Broadcasting System to provide equal employment opportunities for qualified applicants without regard to race, color, religion, sex, age, or national origin. This is TBS Atlanta.